Hi everyone, welcome to the session. This is session 4 for JIRA. Last three sessions we had discussion about the JIRA reports. Today's session thought like we will discuss a little bit about the automation so that whoever is required or whoever can make use of these functionality in our projects, they will get benefit out of it. So before going into the topic, like any of you already have experience making use of the JIRA automation functionality, or what is it you are aware of, how you make use of it, what's the best practices? Anyone want to share?
Yeah, I mean, like I have written some automations, but very simple automations, especially
Mm-hmm.
like updating the stories based on the content of the features, or
Mm-hmm.
so those kind of automations I have written.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a starting point, Manas. Yes, even I started doing the same. Still, I'm at the same level, so nothing to worry. We are all, it's like at least to start with, right? So to get an idea, first of all, to understand that there is some functionality like this within Jira, and we can start making use of this. Thanks, Manas. Anyone else? Okay. So let me go ahead and share the application. And again, as a reminder, we will be using the Jira Cloud, and this is a free version. So we don't have the full-fledged functionality, but yes, at least we can go through the concepts and the topic, and we will go ahead for the our own project implementation. So right now we are on the Jira board, one of the active sprint. So to get started with the automation, there is a project settings on the left hand side, the menu, and click on it. We will redirect to the project settings. The starting point of the automation can be set from the project settings page itself or project settings view itself. You need to even go into the automation. What is that? If we scroll down a little bit, the default assignee. So right now, if you can see, the default assignee is unassigned. So this is one of the common question or a doubt we get in many forums or many discussions. How we can set a specific user or specific team member as a default assignee for any of the requests or issues tickets we create in the Jira backlog. So this is a starting point. So if you can pick and choose a default assignee here itself, that is like a what do you say, as a starting point to start with a simple direct upfront automation as such. Otherwise, what will happen? All the issues or the request tickets we create in the backlog, it will be showing as unassigned. But if in case you want to tag it to someone, some of our teams, they will have the what is it, the product owner as a project lead, and all the backlog items will be by default created and will be tagged to that respective product owner until the story or the issue or request, whatever the terminology we use, is moved into a specific ready state. Okay, so this is a starting point we can make use. So right now the project here we have only two options: project lead or unassigned. We don't have an individual user wise or a team member wise assignee here. We have only one option: either choose unassigned or project lead. So the project lead here right now, because I'm the one who created it, it is showing my name as a project lead, but we can choose whoever is your team members or whoever is assigned to your respective project. You can pick and choose who should be the project lead, and the same you can choose as a default assignee. That way, as a starting point, as I mentioned just now, any new backlog item created will be default assigned to that respective project lead. So you might get a question, hey, why everything is getting tagged to me as a scrum master? And there is one of the question we got in one of the forum. Satish, we are getting all the new requests which are getting created is getting tagged to me. Why it is coming to me as a scrum master? So the simple thing is like go and check what is the default, who is the default SN in your project? If it is project lead, and if your name is mentioned as a project lead, that's the reason, that's the root cause why the new issues are getting tagged or assigned to you automatically, right? So yes, that's a starting point. Are you good till now?
Yes, Satish.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the next is like in the left side, we have automation as an option. We have many other options, but for the current session, let's go through the automation as an option. Okay. So once we click on the automation option, um, we will have the list of library or list of automation rules which are already generated or defined by Atlassian team. So no need to start from scratch. That's a best starting point, especially the new uh, folks who are starting with JIRA as a first time, or who is not having much of idea of the logic. So this is a starting point. We can make use of these the default predefined automation rules, simple automation rules, and we can get started. Then slowly, steadily, we can build our own rules, our own automation. It is up to us, however we want to play around. As a starting point, first take a look at what all the default, what do you say, the default rules or the default templates which are available, and then see if any of these can be fit in your own context. We can enable, we can get it activated for your respective project, and we can get started with it. Then the next step, we can think of a complex automation or complicated different rules as per your own context. So that's what Manas mentioned in the beginning of the session, like the default predefined automation templates. He mentioned, Manas mentioned, he's making use of it. Same is the case with me as well. I also started making use of these simple automation rules as a starting point. Okay, so just to quickly mention, when all the stories are completed, then close epic. Yes, this is one of the basic question we get from many scrum masters. Satish, all the stories are completed, but still the epic is showing as a what do you say, in progress. Why? The default JIRA is not having that functionality or that rule enabled. We need to make it enabled from our side. The same case, the reverse. When the epic is marked as completed, close all the stories are present. So at times, when the second scenario come, we all know the first scenario when the stories are completed, the stories are completed, automatically we can mark the epic as closed. But what about the second scenario? When the epic is completed, why the stories we want to mark the stories as closed? Any idea when the second scenario might come? What could be the logic for second scenario? We are closing the epic by or closing or marking the epic as completed, the final state, based on which all the stories are marked as closed. Any thoughts? Okay, are we still in the session? Okay, yes, we could see.
Maybe Satish, if we will not be able to close all the stories once the epic is completed, then any changes in the stories later on may call a epic to reopen.
We can define the rule like that as well. Yeah, it is all. See, JIRA is a tool. It will follow whatever the rules, what are the guidelines we as a users define. That's it. Right. So you can make it whenever, however you want. Right. So Praveen, my question is like, when do this situation might come? When the epic, let's suppose I am marking one of the epic as completed, I want all the stories present under that epic as also closed or completed. when that situation might come. I'm just trying to bring up some different scenarios.
In my
Maybe
case, so we are writing the second automation, but not the first automation, because when all the stories are completed, closing the epic seems to be not a good idea, because epic will span for from anywhere between 3 to 6 months, right? So meaning so when the epic is when you're closing the stories, I mean, we should not close the epic, because there might be scenarios again, we will be creating the stories under that epic. But when the epic is completed, then we can close all the stories.
Yes, it's a valid situation, Manas. Thanks for bringing that up. So if in case we don't have all the stories defined for the epic, let's suppose we have 5 stories created and all the 5 stories are completed in the current sprint, but the product owner is yet to create new stories. So if in case we enable the first rule, when all the stories are completed, close the epic, but automatically the epic might get closed, which we don't want. That's the reason the Atlassian team is giving the rules and asking us, you pick and choose which rule you want to enable, right? Thanks for bringing that point, Manas. The same time, Simhachalam mentioned in the comment in the chart, that when the epic is no more valid, that's when we might want to mark the epic as completed or closed, stating that no more. We have a predefined, we created a custom status or custom pointer stating that will not be implemented. At some point of time, we realize the epic is no more valid or no more required, relevant from the implementation. We want to, the product owner in the discussion backlog refinement or in one of the session, product owner might be mentioning, Satish, we don't want to implement this epic. This is no more valid. We need to create a different epic for some other functionality. Then I as a Scrum Master might be marking the epic as completed. But what happens? The remaining, maybe we have some 10 or 12 user stories under that epic. Do you want to go and mark each and every story as closed or not required? In such cases, yes, the automation, if we enable that rule, the second rule, when the epic is completed, close all the stories present. Right? So, yes. So based upon the context, based upon the situation, the implementation, we can pick and choose which rule we want to enable or which rule we want to activate. And yes, the third rule is where we got a query in one of the groups or forums. Issue is transition, then automatically assign. As soon as a story is moving from encoding to in QA or ready for QA or whatever, or at times what we do, some of our teams do is whenever the story is done with everything, it is moved to the PO review. The PO need to review and give the sign off. Right. So to showcase that status, some of our teams created ready, as soon as the story is done, it will get assigned to the PO. It is up to the teams, right? So let the team figure out which rule they want to make use or which rule, what's the context, and we can go ahead. Right. So these are the simple automation rules to just give a quick glimpse of it. Yes. The same way, if we scroll down a little bit, we have the different default templates defined. Right. So let's take a look at these rules and start making use of these as required. And we can go ahead and start making use in your respective projects. Right. So one of it is when a bug is created, add someone as a watcher. So as soon as a new bug is created, our product owner wants, hey, Satish, go ahead and add me as a watcher for each and every bug, so that I will get to know when a bug is transitioned from one state to other state. Yes. Go ahead and start making use of these rules. So these are all the basic rules to get started with and to see how we can make use of it in our respective projects. Okay, are you good till now?
Yeah, Satish.
Okay, yes. Anyone wants to add any points? Manas, so which are the rules your teams are using right now?
We are using many rules, especially like like in our entire organization, not in the entire organization, but for few of the projects, like if the user story is not being touched within last 24 hours, then we are sending an email to the user, to the assignee. Like so you haven't worked on this, and like we have even written like some automations for JIRA service management, but like we are closing the JIRA service management, and we are onboarding to service now right now. And we basically we have written like stories related to I mean automations related to Epic and sorry, not Epic, like we have a feature also, like features parent is Epic, so that is our hierarchy.
Okay.
And for the features, like we are having stories and tasks. So the like we are even using like tempo timesheets. Like one of the field in tempo timesheets is account, that is for the finance. So if you are changing the account number on the feature, then it should automatically reflect on all the link to user stories. So like basically, like all these users automations we are writing on the similar front. Like when we are closing the feature, then even like we should close the stories. So those kind of automations, basic, very simple automations.
Yes. So that's a good starting point. Like the same way we have this integration with the Slack, with the DevOps branching, the pull request is merged. All these things are right, like the GitLab and GitHub, like the integration with the Atlassian tools. Everything is there, and there are many new templates are being launched every now and then by the Atlassian team. So we can take a look at it, and we can make use of these categories as required. And how to get started? Yes, this is a simple 4-step. Like first step is we need to mention the condition when we want to get that rule triggered as a starting point. Then if this is what happens, then go ahead and do it and get it added. So it's a simple way to get started with the Jira automation. Anyone else want to mention any rules or anything which you define in your projects? Any other specific situations or the context where you are making use of this automation? Okay. So let's quickly add one, and we will see how we can get it done. So I'm clicking on create a rule. So it is saying, let's create your first rule. Click on it. So yes, it is giving the 3 steps. What's the trigger point, when the rule is to be initiated or triggered, and when what's the thing should be happen, and then what is the thing, right? So yes, let's click on it and the condition, and then the thing. So let's get started. Yes, so what is a new trigger we want to do? And as you can see, no need to do everything automatically. The Jira as a tool itself is defining or giving the uh, fields, so the recommended and the triggers, so that it will help us to get started with. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Which one we want to go ahead and take? Let's see. When the sprint started, trigger when the sprint starts. Okay, no, let's go back. We'll say trigger when sprint is created. Pick the board. Okay, which board we want to apply this? We need to pick up the board. Okay, the project board, and it is getting tagged to that respective project board. So save. And then what is it we want to do? You want to do an action or a condition or a want to create a separate branch to do that. Let me do a condition. What is the condition? Let's see. I'll use a user condition. User who triggered is I'm the Scrum Master, so I'm checking that whether I'm the one who created it or not. If initiator is not, let me update it. Is not. Right? Which means I want to know if in case someone else apart from me created a sprint. Because I'm the project lead, so I don't want anyone else. I'm just creating a generic example, right? So, okay, then what we want to happen? The action is email, send email to a given address. Subject, I'm selecting me. My name is not coming up, okay. Okay, let's see. I can send to all the JIRA admins or the site admins or everyone, maybe the Confluence admins. But now I'm selecting JIRA admins, subject stating that sprint created by a non-admin. I'm just giving a generic example, guys. Don't take it right. So I'm saying that, hey team, a new sprint is created by non-admin in SQW board. And who can edit the rule? Yes, sprint email. I gave a name, and who can edit all admins? I done it on. Okay. We should add a branch for the sprint article. We do a branch on sprint. User condition. Okay. Let's see. Components that require issues to be provided by the trigger. Okay. It's not allowing me to do it. Let me do something else. Okay. So I updated it. Issue created by a non-admin. So as soon as a new issue is created, it will get triggered or it will get enabled and it will get started. and all the admins of that respective space will get an email trigger. Okay. This is how we can start enable. And now if we go back to the automation and if you see the rule, it will show the rule as enabled. Return to the list. It will show the project specific rule. Yes, this is a rule, and we can enable or disable just by toggle the option. Good. Are you good till now?
Yes, Satish.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's try to see any other rule. Any other thoughts? Which one we want to give a try? Auto-assign issues. Yes, this is another thing. Or the sum of the story points. These are all the and yes, there is a playground in the template. You can go, you can click and play, and you can just try before actually making use of it, right? So these are all the dummy users and the dummy projects, all the things you can try, and you can go ahead into these as well. Right? See some of the auto assign high priority JIRA issues, right? And close duplicate JIRA issues, link mentioned issue, right? So like that, there are different default things which are created, and you can play, you can check that. Let's give it a try. Yes, see, when the bug is created, add as someone as a watcher. So let's click and play. Is this? Right. So these are all the rules which are already available. So you can check what you want to do or how, and you can create the rules here and you can try how it will be coming up before publishing it as a official automation rule in your project. Good.
Just one question, Satish. We are playing here with the cloud version of JIRA.
Yes.
With the other versions like data center or the server version, are the same rules applies over there as well, or this is something different for them?
More or less the same. More or less the
Yeah,
same could be there.
I assume like, for the data center are the like, the personal instance versions, like, you don't have the automation feature available. So the automation feature, if I'm not wrong, like, it is available only to the cloud version.
Okay. I haven't played around with the server or data center version. Thanks, Manoj, for adding that point. I'm not pretty sure. I mean, most of the cases, what happens, right? So we used to submit a request to the JIRA admin. They used to enable or disable or do all the workflows or the configuration. So I haven't got a chance to explore in the data center. We never used data center, the server version, but only once we started with the cloud version, we started going through these automation rules. So to be frank, I don't have an idea. And thanks, Manas, for adding that point.
You're welcome. And one more thing I would like to add here, like, so if you are a project manager, you're not a JIRA admin, but if you are a project admin, then like, you still will be having option to create your own automations. So most of the times, like, the project admins within the organization, they will try to create their own automations. But like when they create the automations, it's like an admin's responsibility to keep checking, like, what exactly they are writing. Because in most of the scenarios, like, they feel that, like, whatever automation they are writing, it will work. But yeah, definitely that will work for some scenarios, but not for all the scenarios. Especially, like, so if you're writing some automation and where you haven't defined the condition properly, so what it will happen is, like, it will apply for, like, each and every issue, irrespective of whether that issue qualifies for that automation or not. And in these scenarios, what happen, like, every day that automation will run. If you're creating the automation for a project, it will run for only 3,600 automation, like 3,600 instances. After, like, 3,600, 3,601 instance will, like, fail, irrespective of, like, whether it qualifies or not. And you will see the error message as throttled. So it's like, so you need to be careful, like, while writing the automation, especially the condition.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wanted to
Thanks.
highlight this point.
Sure. That helps, Manas. Anyone else? Actions. Right. Let's see. We give a try for one of it. Issue commented, edited, issue commented. So some of these might not be valid for us, like issue deleted. So when the issue is deleted, we half of our projects might not be even having a access to that to move or execute some issues move from one project to other project. Okay. Source target. Okay. Yeah. Send an email. To reporter. Changing project for your issue. Your issue is moved from one project or another. I'm just giving an example. Save and edit. Email and turn it on. Creates our issue. Okay. I couldn't locate the issue. I don't know why. Let's see. So here I could see, like, when the sprint is completed, create retro notes in Confluence. This is one of the things. Let's see what I created. Create Then create a page with this sprint name dot retro and the current date and the space in which Confluence server they want to create. They defined it. So yes, this is another thing. So you can create the rules in this way as well. So because as soon as a sprint is completed, the next step we all know that it will be moved to the retrospective. So automatically a page can get created with the sprint details, and we can get it added in this respective board. Okay, are you good? Any questions? Okay, that's it from my side from the automation perspective. Let me play around some more, and we can have any other follow-up pointers or discussion on this. So apart from this, anything else you want to discuss on Jira? Many other things we can discuss.
Satish, do we have any session planned for adaptivist application like Groovy scripting?
Groovy scripting, I don't have idea, Manas. I need to check if we have anyone who can do a session on that.
Yeah,
We're planning for one session on JQL and the Jira dashboards. So we are gathering some information around it. So that's another thing we want to do as a one session. JQLs and simple JQLs versus advanced search and filter issues, the dashboard creations. The Groovy script, let me check if in case we have anyone who can do a session.
Yeah,
thing is like yeah, definitely I can understand. The thing is like we might not have that on our personal machine or a free version, right? So that's the thing, a challenge to do a session on that. Let me check once.
Yeah, I think script runner we can install it on our machine. It is
Okay.
completely free. I think up to five licenses. I think if your instance is having 5 licenses, I think it is completely free.
Okay.
Yeah, I only explored out of the box features only. I mean the things that you can do without the Groovy script, I have explored only those.
Okay, let me check around on that, Manas. If you see anyone from our groups can do a session on it, we can schedule and we can do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Anyone want to discuss or share anything?
Yeah, and regarding the automation, so each and every automation we cannot do by using simple automation steps. Rather, in some cases we need to use the Jira's smart values. So you can search for the Jira smart values, and those values will be helpful to you while writing the automation. Some field values you cannot directly update. So basically you need to use the Jira's smart values. So just search for the Jira smart values on the internet, and you will find what exactly it is, how to use them in your automation.
Okay. Okay. Let me. Smart values in Jira Automation. Okay.
Yeah, can you click on let's okay, yeah. So these are the values, yeah, instead of description, you can use double curly brace issue dot description to use that particular field value in your automation. Similarly, for each and every module, you can find the smart values. These will be very much
yeah.
helpful while writing the automation.
Thanks, Manas. I guess the same is where we saw here somewhere in one of the rule. Yeah, the sprint name.
Right. So while writing the email, like, subject line, like we cannot simply write the name, right? Like if you are writing the name, it will only give the name. But if you're writing the sprint dot name, it will give, like, every sprint, whenever you are creating the new sprint name will be replaced with this smart value.
That helps, Manas. Yes, definitely. So
and the time calculations and all, like time calculations, and if you are scheduling any event, any automation, then during those times also, like, so these values will be helpful.
Okay, let's see how this, all the properties, all the rules you can make use of it. Okay, good to know. So is this the same for everything, Manas? The projects, okay. We have
Yes.
all the different things. Okay, the date and time. Okay.
Yeah. I use most of them, like, while I was writing the JSM automations, especially like the automation. I mean, like what they wanted is, like, when the employee was onboarding, so the email should trigger to the manager, to the person. And that person, either he can get into JIRA service management and approve the ticket, or he can only simply send an email approved. So if he sends the approved, then, like, the same thing will be updated in the JIRA service management ticket in the comment section. So I was reading that comment and reading that comment in the automation, and based on that, like, I am approving the ticket automatically. So like in these kind of situations, again, like, the smart values will definitely will be helpful. And I was even sending the automation, I was triggering the automation like 2 times. If you are a manager, you haven't approved the ticket within 2 days, then I was escalating it to your manager. So that again, like, that manager will be having 2 more days time to approve the ticket. If he is not approving, then after 2 more days, I was automatically approving the ticket. So these kind of things, like, so in the scheduling and, like, smart functions and all, it will be helpful.
Okay. Yes. And we could see some math expressions. Okay. Maybe you might be using the conditional logic more comparatively. The date and time conditional logic is what we might be using. So to see how many related issues or related tickets are there. Okay. This bug has dash related tickets. I guess as a Scrum Masters, these things might help us, right? So we might get a points, how many are related or how many are connected or depends child issues, something like that. Maybe we can use these examples or context there in such cases.
What is the name of this, Satish?
JIRA Smart Values.
JIRA Smart Values. Okay.
And we have all the examples, references, pointers as well, so we can get started and see how we can go through these as well.
These values will be, again, like, when you're writing the JSON script within your automation also, like,
That's okay.
So you definitely need these values only. So other than that, like, you cannot do anything.
Yes.
So hope you know about like, JIRA's like how to get the JSON page of, like, any issue, right?
Can you help with that, Manas?
Yeah, could you navigate to Could you navigate to, could you search for like, JIRA REST API?
Okay. Within Jira or in the Google?
No, outside, in the Google. In the Google.
Okay. Jira is API.
Yeah, search for it.
Mhm.
And we are interested in cloud version. Yeah, click on
Cloud
that.
version, okay. Mhm.
Okay, come down and search for like, come down, scroll down in your left panel,
Okay. Okay.
Down. Can you click on issues?
Issues.
I'm
Okay.
just giving like, very simple example.
Issues. Okay.
Yeah.
Get started.
Okay, so do you have like, get issues, get issue? Can you click on get issue? In your left side only. So that's a get method. Yeah, that's a get method. Okay, now you have the sample code for like, Python and curl script, curl, Java. Can you click on the Python, please?
Python. Okay.
And copy that HTTP URL, HTTPS URL of 7th line number 7.
Yes.
Yeah, copy that.
Okay.
So now you put that one in your notepad.
Just a minute. My machine is a bit slow today.
Yeah, no issues.
Oh, Notepad plus. Okay. Looks like it got updated. Okay.
Okay, so that your domain is nothing but like, your instance name there. So yeah, replace that your domain with your instance name. That is Kollas, KOLLAS. And the issue ID, like, can you bring any one issue ID from your project?
Sure.
Yeah, SOW10, SOW10. Yeah. That issue key or ID, right? Like just type SOW.
Okay.
And now you place this like, open this URL in your browser.
Okay.
Okay, so this is your JSON file for like, your issue. So can you copy this one and like, open in the JSON formatter? Can you open the JSON formatter in your browser?
JSON formatter browser. Okay. I can go for the first one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, left side you paste that file. And now you found like, the JSON formatted JSON to your right. So just copy that one and replace. I mean, put it in the notepad.
Okay.
Okay, so now like let's assume like, you need to update like, any of the field based on like, based on some conditions within your automation. So you need to use the exact like, structure like this. So if it is the custom field, like, the field name, like here you are seeing comments, oats, work logs, right? If it is a custom field, like, so the field name will be like custom field underscore and with some number it will be there. So let's assume like, you have to update that custom field based upon some criteria. So then you need to use the exact this structure, like the curly braces and all, like open curly braces and then comment Let's assume you want to update the comment, then like, you need to see like, what is the path of this comment. So where exactly it comes, like, the open curly brace and closed curly brace. So you need to calculate everything. I mean, you need to take everything, and you need to update that in your JSON, in your automation. So in your automations, like, there is an edit issue automation is there, right? So in the edit issue, like, you can either set the value directly, or like, there is a more option. So more option, right? So when you click on that more option, you will see like, one text field with additional field information, something. So there you need to paste. Can you go to the automation, JIRA automation, please?
JIRA automation, okay.
And maybe you can create some automation with like, edit
Okay.
Edit issue fields.
We create it here itself. Okay, create a rule.
And maybe you can select like, when the issue is created.
Issue created. Okay.
No. Okay, and the issue is created, and save, and next. Okay, maybe in the condition you can I mean like action. Yeah, click the action. Do you see anything called like an edit issue? Edit issue.
Yes, edit issue.
Okay, in the edit issue, so you can copy the value from like, previous field, or you can like, there is a more options, right? Can you click on that more options? Okay, so you see the JSON object here. It's like you need to put JSON object something like this here. So, but for that, like, you need to first get the JSON file of that particular issue, so that you will understand like, how the structure of that particular field is. So if it is a custom field, like, so the starting curly brace, and then like, fields, and again starting curly brace. So instead of environment, like, whatever the field you want to update. So that field name you need to update, and again, like, so like you need to follow that structure. So basically, like, so everything you cannot do it by using the simply out of the box automation features available. Like in some cases, you even need to use this like, more options, and write the JSON file. So this actually takes a little bit of more time to do the trial and error. To see like, whether the automation is working exactly as you intended to use or not. So this will be actually useful if you are writing like, little simple to moderate or complex automations.
Okay, so here we can give just only that 2-3 fields which you want to update, right? Not all the field
No,
names or the
anything.
values.
Anything you can do it here. Anything you can do it here. Actually, why I'm telling this one is like, if you can go back to the JSON file again, like, what we have mentioned, the JSON file. Okay, could you maximize the page, please?
Yes, sure.
Scroll up. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
here we have the custom.
Yeah. Stop here. Okay, so you see the custom field 10001. So it equals to null. It's mentioned, right? And similarly, if you can see the above, like, line number 1218. Aggregate progress, right? So in the aggregate progress, after the aggregate progress, like, you can see one more like curly brace open. And you see like, the progress is equal to 0, total is equal to something, percentage is equal to something, right? So this is because like, so the aggregate field must be like, multi-select field. Like, I mean, what I'm saying is like, if it is the text field, or if it is date field, or if it is a multi-select field, the based upon that, like, again, the JSON structure will change.
Yeah, got it, got it.
within the JSON, and you need to use the exact structure within your automation to update the field.
So it is like if it is a simple field, like we can give the value directly, like the time zone or the display name. But if it is like a multi-value field, we may have to give it like this, right? Yes.
Right. Multi-value field are, I mean, for different types of fields. Again, like if you can see the comments you are seeing the curly, I mean, square braces, right?
Yes.
So that depends on like the field to field. So what type of field the field type is.
Okay. This helps to get an idea of what we want to update as a starting point, and then the format or the template we have to use, and accordingly we can go ahead and do the update.
Right.
I guess then this is a thing maybe one of our admin is planning to do. So we have a request from one of the team, like whenever a new bug is created or a defect or an issue in the JIRA project, they want a some specific template to be included into the description. Maybe this is how they might be doing the automation. No, I got it. Thanks, Manas.
Yeah. So again, like the template within the JIRA, right? So I feel that the out of the box description field will not allow you to create any templates. So you need to like create one more field.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
like,
created a custom field, and we are including that all the columns in that custom field.
Right. Like we had like a rally in our company before. The rally's license was like pretty expensive. Like we were paying approximately $670,000 plus for 2,000 licenses. In rally, like we had the description field as a template, meaning like the issue description and resolution steps was the template. Like, but the same thing when we were migrating all the projects from rally to JIRA, so we were not able to create the template within the description field. So the description field, basically it will not allow you to create the templates. Rather, like we have created a custom field called the detailed description, and in that detailed description field, like we have created the templates.
Yes, so we are also doing the similar thing. Like we created a custom field called as bug template, and within that, all the required parameters are being added into that the bug description, the environment found, something like that specific team has a specific parameters which they want all the team members to track or log whenever a new bug is created. So yes, I can correlate it now. Yes. Thanks, Manas.
You're welcome.
Okay, yes, this is interesting. So thanks for bringing up the pointers. And yes, any specific things you want to discuss before we wrap up the session today? And thanks, Ankita, for sharing the links on the chat. Let me copy it and we'll share with the group members. Great. Yes. Anything else you want to discuss before we wrap up today?
So I have a question for Manas. Like, what was the cost reduction you had, from shifting from Raleigh to JIRA? Because I work as a programmer in a company, so
yeah. Like basically, like for 2,000 licenses for Rally, like we were paying $670,000 plus dollars yearly, year on year, only on the licensing part, licensing as well as with the their support. Whereas for JIRA, like 1,800 JIRA licenses plus 600 Confluence licenses, we were paying like less than 80K. So meaning like
Wow.
we were saving like approximately $600,000 year on year only on the licensing part.
Well, that is a really a great saving, I mean, not a small amount.
Exactly, but like in our environment, in our Rally environment, we had approximately 11,000 plus projects, out of which so 292 projects are active. And what we did is we migrated all those 292 active projects from Rally to Jira. And here I have used one of the Java developer, and there was an application called the TaskTop. TaskTop was the middleware, but we used that as an integration tool to migrate the data, as a migration tool to migrate the data from Rally to Jira. And the inactive projects, approximately 900 inactive projects, we again we wrote the JavaScript to upload the data into Excel sheets. And in the Excel sheets itself, we have provided the file name, if any file is attached to that particular issue, then so the attachment also, we have downloaded and we have uploaded the data into S3 bucket, Amazon's S3 bucket.
Okay, okay.
So our organization policy was we have to keep the records for 7 years. So after 7 years, if nobody is using, then we
Compliance,
can delete.
right?
Compliance, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Manas. That was very informative, and I think if it's the case, I think people will stop using Raleigh and everybody will migrate to Jira if this is a real case.
Rally is having its own features, so you can maintain the project hierarchies, meaning under your business unit, or under your department, you have some value stream. In your value stream, you want to create different projects, and underneath those department projects, again sub projects are coming. So you can maintain those hierarchies, and this will be very helpful, if you are creating the reports. And a similar feature is missing in Jira, but in Jira also you can achieve it by using the Jira Align. But the Jira Align license is pretty expensive. I think, if I'm not wrong, Jira Align license is $400 or $500 per license.
Per
Whereas
user.
Jira
Correct,
license per user. But if it is a Jira
Per user,
license,
right?
it is hardly, yeah. The Jira is hardly $6-7 per user.
Yeah, $6, $10, Jira Plus, yes.
Yeah, that depends again, so I mean the way you are negotiating with the company, you will get very good discounts.
Yes, exactly. I mean,
Why that much expensive? What is the benefits are there you're using the Jira line?
The Jira Align is a similar kind of, I never explored it, but I just have the high level idea. It will give you, you can manage the projects within parent child projects, you can manage, meaning so under your.
Hari, Jira Align is most commonly used for what do you say, like the scale agile or Scrum at scale, or less sort of implementation portfolio level. So where we can generate all the reports, or the typical leadership team, right? So let's suppose I have 3 portfolios. I don't want to go and do each and every Jira project and look at the progress or the status information, right? So then I can make use of the Jira Align. Again, not just for that, right? So the planning, especially the scale agile implementation, right, where we do multiple teams coming together into agile release, trying doing a big room planning called as PI planning and everything for 5 to 6 sprints. Jira Align is a functionality where they can visualize all the functionality. The base Jira still remains same. The project sprints, everything will be as is. But this will be like on top of it, additional layer or functionality where we can visualize all the tool, all the functionality and everything in a one single screen.
Okay.
Yes, Ankita.
Yes, Satish. Just wanted to add on the Jira line. So when it comes to Jira Align, there are multiple functionality. The best part is you can also have your teams level to on a Jira Align. Everything what we have came across on the safe. They have implemented on Jira Align, be it objectives, be it OKRs, be it as stories, be it risk, be it Rome. Also, we have talked about Visjef, weightage, shortest job first. All these things are calculated. I think from Atlassian, this is one of the best product they have acquired. The only challenge is it's very costly. So we worked on one of the transitions from one of the telecom industry where they moved from Jira to Jira Align, but the licensing part is very crucial here. Only the leadership had taken up the Jira Align licenses because it's very costly and each license is a hefty amount. So the best part is only the teams who have matured enough should go around working on a Jira Align. So anything and everything, you have a strategic room, you can define these strategies, vision, mission. So I was working as a Jira Align SME for one of the project. So we defined everything on a high level, but also there is a challenge on the ground level where the teams are working. If they are not updating it, you have so many reportings on Jira Align that you can't even explore them. They talk about everything they have, based on the pricings or what you opt for on the reporting side. I guess if somebody can share what I'm talking about, that would make more sense. You can see all the program increments, all these sprints wise, what the team is doing. Even if there are 10 teams, 20 teams, 30 teams, you can just have a quick glance what is happening. But they should be a part of an art level. They should have the common project scope, what you are working around it. But on the other hand, if you're not updating it, anything on a team's level, let's say the team is not very accurate in updating what they are doing, updating or what dependencies they have. If you're not updating it, at the end of the day, the dependencies or the reports you wanted to pull out will be very inaccurate. The last point which I like to add on the Jira Align here is you cannot do much changes in the fields, like in the fields configuration on a granular level on Jira. I can call epics, I can call features, I can call anything, I can create a risk fields. But in Jira Align, it is very limited on the fields. When you are wanted to put it across on a when you wanted to connect Jira to Jira Align, the fields has to be very limited, and you cannot do much around it. You cannot do anyhow. The configurations from Jira Align is very complicated, so that they have a limited fields there. You cannot modify much on that. So that is a limitation of Jira Align. Apart from that, that is the best tool, but expensive though. So on a teams level, definitely it's not a great thought, or not the leadership I could say in coming future would want it. But only on a leadership, there be teams getting 5 license, 10 license, or 20 at max. For the higher management, up to the agile coach or scrum masters, the license is being shared.
Yeah, I assume unlike other Jira marketplace apps, if you are having on your Jira, if you are having 1,000 licenses, so any app that you are buying from marketplace, you have to buy 1,000 licenses. I mean, they will charge for 1,000 licenses, but Jira Align is not like that. I think so if you want only 10 licenses or 20 licenses, you can buy those many.
Yeah, one license is in Indian rupees is around in lakhs, not less than that. So it's I couldn't recall the pricing now, but it's very expensive, one of the very expensive. That's why you can't find it anything around. The best part on the Jira Align again, and it could be a cons also, you can't do anything from the marketplace also. Like Jira, you have a lot of configurations, you can customize it as your own. But compare, if I had to compare it with Jira Align, you cannot customize it, you can't do anything from the marketplace. There is limitation. Once you have a Jira Align, all I think Satish is sharing the screen. This is what on the left hand side it would look like. This is what it is. You cannot add anything from marketplace, not neither you can modify. They have a limited UI.
Thanks, Ankita, for adding the pointers. So Jira is more or less like a typical project level when compared to Rally, right? So Rally has many functionalities, but again, if we have to do a comparison, we need to cross check each and everything, and only then we can go ahead with whether it is Rally versus Jira or anything. It's not just one single cost factor as such, right? So we need to consider these parameters and the functionality, the perspectives, everything we need to, and accordingly we need to take a decision.
Just to add on one thing here, in my current organization, we have discontinued most of the financials tools with Rally. Anything and everything is linked towards capabilities and how much budget you would be getting around. So a lot of things on the project charter, the how much the budget is coming through, it could be around epic level or the capabilities level, the budget you will be getting. So it depends what if you are able to rule off a lot of financial tools and can go ahead and opt for those. Rally is also a great solution, and it depends on the project to project, organization to organizations, and where you are standing. Certain times Jira is a solution, but if you are working with in an art level where there are hundreds or 500s or thousands people, and how you can help the leadership to look forward and work more efficiently, then the solution would be different. So every tools is there to support us, so we just had to make the best use of it, if I can share my perspective.
That's definitely true, Ankita. Okay, yes. Any last minute pointers before we wrap up today's session? Okay, thanks everyone. I will share the recording. And next session, we are planning for the JQL and dashboards. If in case any of you want to share your pointers, feel free to join, or you can reach out to me so that we can schedule a session accordingly and we can go ahead with that. Thanks, everyone.
One question, Satish. Like, are
Yes,
you planning anything on Jira Align? Any future
No,
plan?
no Jira Align. We don't have access. We don't have it to the license itself.
Or no demo sandbox like that? They don't provide a sandbox.
They won't provide. They won't provide. If in case we need,
okay.
you need to reach out to Atlassian team. They themselves will schedule a demo.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Satish.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Satish.
thank you, Satish.
Thank you all.
everyone.
Thank you.